Hello everybody, welcome back and welcome to my kitchen. It is Valentine's Day, although you're not going to see this video until after Valentine's Day, because on the days that my husband is at work, I found out that he gets the notifications that I upload videos and he watches them, so I don't want him in on the surprise. Now, on things like Valentine's Day, I do make him a little surprise, like nothing huge, but I'll bake him something. And I decided that this year I really wanted to try something a little bit more advanced. I'm no kitchen novice, I'm very good with baking, but I've never actually tried things in the vein of candy. And I'm making two things today. I'm going to be making Turkish Delight, and I'm also going to be making marshmallows. So I have two flavors for that. Rose flavored Turkish Delight and then lavender on the marshmallows. And if there's any marshmallow mixture left over, I'm probably going to make some rose flavored marshmallows as well. As you can see, I'm not wearing nail polish, and that's because we're going to be dealing with candy, something that's very, very sticky and something that can grab onto your nail polish and flake off into your mixture, and nobody wants to be eating nail polish, so bye-bye. Another thing that is fairly interesting about my new camera setup is that it has low light compensation. So suddenly, out of nowhere, you're going to see me sort of light up as if a light bulb has gone off inside my body. So let's just, since I can't figure out for the life of me how to turn it off, we will just assume that the power has surged through me and it's just going to be infused into the marshmallows. And the same thing will happen to you. You will get the power surge and will create the most powerful marshmallows and Turkish Delight in all of God's creation. Getting started, I didn't realize that we got another one of the candy thermometers, because I had a candy thermometer because my husband likes to make what is called cinder toffee, and you need one of these for that, and it's really useful. And I honestly thought, since the other one had broken, that I was going to have to use my fingers and scorch myself to absolute death just to figure out what stage of candy we're at. So there's something called the soft ball stage, which cracks me up every time I hear it, but it's basically when the sugar kind of strings between your fingers. That means you're touching molting hot sugar. I don't know if you can see, I have burns all over me. This is because I am not safe when I bake. I'm very good at baking, not very safe when I do it. This should be an interesting video nonetheless, and I'm sure at some point I'm going to probably put my hair up before I set it on fire, so I might just do that now. So while this is happening, I'm kind of contemplating how I'm going to start this. If I'm going to start with the Turkish Delight, if I'm going to start with the marshmallows, and I think it's probably best to start with the marshmallows. Better safe than sorry, right? Probably not wearing the correct color to be working with marshmallows, but you know, we will see soon enough how messy of an experience this is. I brought in a secondary camera to kind of capture what's going on above. I'm not great with cooking videos. I love cooking, I love baking, and I thought that I may as well just vlog this experience. So if anything crazy happens, I don't have to tell my husband the story, I can just show him. So I think we're gonna get started with the marshmallows. So I'm gonna get that video up on my phone. I've been watching the videos like absolute crazy, just to make sure that I get these right. And just in case we're not using cups, I have kitchen scales at the ready, in case we're just using grams. Yep, we're using grams here. If you're vegan, I know that there are vegan sort of gelatin options out there, but this, unfortunately, this is not vegan. But we are not a vegan household, so therefore we use gelatin. All right, I have all the things that I need. I'm gonna be using coconut oil to spray the pan so everything kind of goes in easily. And they say to use an unflavored oil, but I just have this feeling that when I put in, like say, canola oil, which is one of the ones that they recommend, and I put something scalding hot on top of it, it's just gonna taste like fried chicken to me. I don't know. I'd rather not risk that. So let's see. We're going to be using 250 grams of granulated sugar and 125 mLs of water. All right, let's start off with that. Everyone has their favorite hob that they use, and I think it's always the bottom right. And if you look at the wear and tear on my stove, you can always see, no matter how much I wash it, there's always that bit of wear on the bottom right, because I do favor this one. And that meme is true. We all have that one that we favor, and this is most definitely it. Sugar. We said 250 in the sugar. So I'm watching a YouTube video because I like to see things put into practice. Oh good, she put the ingredients. I like when they put everything into the description, so that's good. We have 30 grams of gelatin, 250 grams of sugar. 225. This is 254. That should do. This is so wacky and haphazard. I don't know how this is going to turn out because I'm like two-handing things, but it's kind of fun, not going to lie. And sugar everywhere and hot water. You didn't say hot water. 1/2 a cup of water to 250 mLs of sugar. Was it mLs? No. 1/2 a cup of water to 250 grams of sugar, and then we're just going to let that do its thing. So when I'm making caramel, I know that you're not supposed to stir it. You can't stick any spoons or anything in that. You have to actually do one of these. Once you're letting it heat up, you kind of have to spin it around like that, and the reason is the second you stick something inside, the sugar is going to crystallize and you want to keep it smooth. So I don't know if that's the case. She's stirring it, and her marshmallows look like they came out pretty good, so I'm just going to wing it. Every time I go on Amazon, I always realize, hey, you know what? I need this random thing, and SIDS are one of those things that I actually really did need. So we need to get this to a certain temp, and that is the soft ball stage. And my thermometer isn't technically a candy thermometer. It's a cooking thermometer, but it's not a candy thermometer. And regular candy thermometers actually have the temperature, and on the other side, it'll say like soft ball, hard ball stage. This doesn't, so I have to just go by temperature alone. Where are you, spatula? This is why we keep saying that we need an organized kitchen, because we do. Okay, just sort of planning what I'm going to do here. I'm not sure what size pan I'm actually going to need, so I have this one, which is stained from many baking experiences past, but I have this size and I have one that's a little bit bigger. I'm gonna have a peek and see what she's using, but I'm gonna keep them both at the ready. If I didn't have to cut these, I would use my silicone bat mold. How friggin' perfect would that be? Also, I got these around Halloween time, and I do plan to use them at some point. How cool are these? I'm gonna make something, I don't know what. I just need to know my gelatin ratios here. And I think this guy uses a candy thermometer in his video. Yeah, he's also using a KitchenAid. I'm going to be using a KitchenAid in this one as well. So that is probably something worth noting. But you can actually, you don't need to use a KitchenAid for this. All right, for the gelatin bloom. We're going to leave that one open. Add 30 grams of gelatin to 120 mLs of hot water. So now I'm kind of scared that I used too much sugar. No, it's the same. Okay, so 30 grams of gelatin with 120 mLs of hot water. That was scary. 3 envelopes, 22 grams. Okay. So we're going to go with it. So we did 3 envelopes. So we're going to do 2. And 3. I am going to say that consistency-wise, I'm a little bit concerned because the gelatin looks different. So the unflavored, it just said Knox unflavored gelatin, and the gelatin that everyone else is using looks a bit crystallized. I don't know if it's their camera, but it looks crystallized. This is not crystallized. This looks a little bit more. See what I mean? It looks a bit powdery. So for the marshmallow, we're going to need just the sugar, the gelatin, and then I believe like the rose water, cornstarch, that whole thing. But one thing that I'm going to need, which is interesting, and I'm not sure why because it's not lemon flavored for the Turkish Delight, is lemon juice. So we'll see where that comes into play. So they say 240 degrees Fahrenheit or 120 degrees Celsius, I believe is what he said. Let me just make sure I heard that correctly.
Just going to let that boil until it reaches 240 degrees Fahrenheit or 115 degrees Celsius.
115 degrees Celsius. Yeah, that's probably about right. I always like to use a little bit less than necessary. just in case there's some sort of weird mistake. That way I can always add a little bit more if needed, but too much, you're screwed. I've never worked with gelatin before, so I don't know what it's supposed to look like when it blooms. I'm going to continue watching that video. It's crazy because I've been watching them every single night trying to get this right because I really wanted to do this properly, but just to show you without it tipping over. That's the gelatin, and I'm not entirely sure what it's supposed to do. Now, are those congealed bits, or is that okay? I have no idea. I'm going to remove the sugar from the heat, and then I have to plug that in. Probably help me, right? Oh, welcome to my house. I have never done this before. If I get this in one go, I will be so friggin' happy. I don't know if I need all that bit though. I don't want to waste it. You can't waste it. Generally with things like this, you really want to do a practice run. You know, if you've never done anything like tempering candy or anything that's not your basic sort of baking, you're taking a risk. And I should have done a practice run just to see if I could manage it. It's really loud, but allegedly, what's going to end up happening is that the marshmallow is going to start to come together and it's going to form these really like luminous, glistening sort of, I'm sorry, my lips are getting stuck together by the sugar, but luminous, glistening sort of stiff peaks. I know that's super loud. I might have over-whisked it. I really hope not. Tastes good. So you need a mixture of cornstarch and powdered sugar. Kind of put in the bottom of this pan. I'm going to put extra in the pan only because I'm going to actually make extra of this mixture because you need the exact same thing to make the Turkish delight. Stabbed myself in the fingyyy. It's getting everywhere. I'm just going to spray the pan like that. Just so it sticks in. Because it's really sticky and you want it to be able to come out. Looking at it, I think I really overmixed it. We're going to call this a fail and then move directly onto the Turkish delight. Because look at that. This is not the consistency that it's really meant to be. It's supposed to be liquid as you pour it in. Kind of like the consistency if you warm up marshmallow fluff. And I don't know if this is because I got sort of incorrect info or used way too much gelatin, or I just whisked it way too long. Either way, I think I'm kind of on the right track. So this would be, I guess you would consider like the practice run. It does taste like marshmallow. I'm gonna give it that. We're gonna give this one chance to save. I have an idea. So this is pretty much a bust as it is. So right now, I think it's just a matter of seeing if we can rescue it. I'm able to pick the whole thing up with my hands. You're not supposed to be able to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna scoop as much out. I'm gonna scoop as much out as I possibly can and get it off of my fingers. Oh my god. Yeah, that's not cute. Tastes good, but it's not cute. Wash this off. Just to try it out, I'm going to microwave this for 1.5 minutes. Actually, Actually, do one. Let's do one. I kind of went into it with kind of medium expectations because, you know, I'm good in the kitchen. However, I've never done this before and I didn't do a practice run. And normally with things like this, you do a practice run before the big event. Like, for example, Valentine's Day. I'm giving this as a gift to my husband. So I didn't really have the opportunity to do that because when he's home, he's going to be able to see what I'm doing. I mean, smells like ass. This is the consistency like the way it was in the video. Don't burn yourself. Don't die. We might be able to save this. I'm gonna use this one. I don't want to get my hopes up and then have them completely washed away, but it looks like the consistency that it was in the video, and I'm hoping that that this works. I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to put it somewhere where it's a little bit cooler. My dining room's a little bit cooler because the heat's not on in there, so I'm going to stick this on the table. Welcome to part 2 of my kitchen monstrosity. Next on the agenda is going to be the Turkish delight. I'm hoping that this one turns out a little bit better. I literally have step-by-step, play-by-play on my phone right in front of me, and I'm hoping that I'm going to get this right. And this is the first time I'm really doing anything that requires tempering, and that has to do with anything more involving candy. If you hear that noise, that is because my door is broken, and any kind of wind, the slightest bit of wind, it makes it sound like we live in a haunted mansion. So it kind of goes for ambiance. So the first thing we're going to do, 4 cups of sugar in a pan. On medium heat. Think I can manage that part. Watch, I say that and I can. So we have 4 cups of sugar. So this only goes up to two cups, so I'm going to do it twice. I can't screw this up because I'm running out of... This is going to feel fun under my feet. I love how I kind of have a seamless way of doing things in my kitchen until the camera turns on, and then it's literally like a bull in a freaking china shop. So I'm going to sweep this up because I'm barefoot. Just kind of get this out of the way. So along with, I'm going to watch this as we go. Oh, 444. That's the time, synchronicity. 4 cups of sugar in a pan. 1.5 cups of water, 1.5 cups of water, or 200 mLs, as well as 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. So we got 1.5 cups of water on the way. One and a half cups of water. What the hell was that in there? So in the video, she does actually stir, and since I'm following her recipe, I'm going to kind of stick with what we're... Don't do that. This is stir. Might have thrown out my whisk. I really hope not. Oh, no, I didn't. I like the smell of lemon juice. I think after I sweep, I'm going to have to vacuum and mop in my kitchen. I'm not a clean freak, but I'm like kind of clean quirky, if that makes sense. I don't like the feeling of, like, say, wet socks. If I walk over something, ugh, freaks me out. I just hate it. Feeling of, like, say, sugar on the floor, like even if there's like 1 granule and then suddenly you feel it on the bottom of your foot, or clutter, any kind of clutter. I'm not a clean freak. I think we just call it clean quirky. I don't mind like a little bit of disarray because every home is not, it's not going to be perfect, because that's a boring home to live in when it's like, you know, has to be like a museum. That's not fun. So we are going to let this go to the soft ball stage, which again I think was 120 degrees. Let me ask Google. Okay, Google, what temperature is the soft ball stage?
235 degrees Fahrenheit. Ball stage.
Okay, Google,
That means that
what is 235 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius? All right, so softball stage, which as we said was like 112. So we're gonna go for like 115. Check the consistency. She's badass. She's not using a food thermometer at all. What she's doing is she's just sticking her finger in. So we're also going to be doing 1 cup of cornstarch and 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar and 3 cups of water. So we're going to mix it, make sure there's no lumps, and then put it on a pan and heat it up and stir the crap out of it. So as you're stirring it, okay, so as you're stirring this, what happens is it turns into this sort of kind of mildly white opaque gelatinous mess. Keep the heat on low. So I'm gonna have to put one on low. I'll put one of the back ones on low, and then slowly stir the sugar in. And then you have to let that go for like an hour on low. You have to let it go, and then it's gonna become this sort of sticky gel that's tinted a kind of beige color, kind of golden. It reduces quite a lot, and we have to wait until it goes very golden in color, and then you turn off the heat. We put in vanilla essence or essence of rose water. We're going to be using rose water, and then the food coloring. Mix it well. We got this. This is where my fun new pizza cutter comes in. Yay! Alright, so let me just see how much we need on the cornstarch. Gonna get back to that. 1 cup cornstarch, 1 teaspoon cream of tartar, 3 cups water. Cornstarch, 1 teaspoon cream of tartar. Oh, I brought the wrong thing on. One cup cornstarch, 1 on the teaspoon of tartar. So we're gonna let this mix in, and 3 cups of water after that. This is almost at the softball consistency, so I'm gonna put in the cornstarch and cream of tartar. And mixed with 3 cups of water. This only goes up to 2 cups, so I'm gonna do 2 cups and then 1 cup. You know, I wonder if this thermometer is a little bit off because it's supposed to be around 112 and 115. That's the temperature it really needs to kind of be at in order for all of these things to work, right? Well, when I turned it on, it automatically told me that it was 19 degrees Celsius, and I didn't even have it touching anything, so I'm wondering if maybe my thermometer's off. Maybe that's wishful thinking and me not wanting to think that I am an absolute fail at my first attempt at this. Everyone wants to master something at their first attempt, right? Let that do its thing. And right now I'm gonna stir my cornstarch and cream of tartar mixture. So I'm gonna reduce the heat because it's starting to smell a bit like burning sugar because it's kind of going over onto the hob. But we are still only at 108. So. Ha! Beat you. Oh shit. Stir constantly, and I was not stirring constantly, and I should have been stirring constantly, and I'm sorry that I abandoned you. Oh wait though, I'm gonna put this on low. I'm supposed to keep it on low. Okay, so this actually very quickly, while I was arguing with my thermometer, turned that gelatinous sort of opaque kind of mass that we were going for. I'll kind of, let me see if I can show you this. That happened very quickly, but I'm not going to whisk. The whisk isn't strong enough. I've only got 2 more degrees to go. I like when you're working with it and it looks exactly like it does in the video, because there's something very promising and reassuring about that. Maybe if I put this on a little bit higher. No, I'm gonna put this on low, because it'll be easier. What do we have on low? We have that on low. So we're gonna put this on medium. And then we're gonna put this. No, I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Don't listen to me. Keep this on low. What have I done? So this is what rigorous mixing will do. It just screws up your ensemble. I want to have a quick look what it'll look like in the video. I just want to make sure. It's not quite there. So it has to become more of a paste, and right now it's a little bit more of a gel. So you can see, I don't want to take it off too much. I think I know what went wrong with the marshmallows. I was supposed to put corn syrup in it. Do I have enough gelatin to put back in there? I have 1 packet of gelatin left. That's what did it. I didn't use corn syrup. I'm still very interested to see the way that they came out, because they actually did set, believe it or not. They're not as fluffy or full as they should be, and you're really supposed to let it set for like 4 hours. But considering that I forgot this whole friggin' thing of corn syrup, which I was worried about initially, but because we don't use any products with high fructose corn syrup for, you know. Long and short of it is that it's a fairly new product. Body doesn't know how to process it or digest it, and that's why we have a lot of people with digestive issues and stuff, because high fructose corn syrup is a sugar that the body just does not know how to process. And we tend to stay away from it. But according to everything I've read, corn syrup is not the same as high fructose corn syrup. So this is getting too high, so I'm going to put it on the lower bit here. Oh, cool. It's fun when that happens. Okay, so I've swapped these out. Swapped halves because my sugar was getting too high, and then this wasn't coming together as a paste as it should. So, kind of getting that going. For some reason, hers looks more pasty than mine. I feel like I've done something wrong. What? This looks good. I'm moving it to this one because this one is the low flame. Now we're meant to stir it in little by little. It has flavor. Hers looks much thinner than mine did. I don't understand why it was so much thinner. You know what? I think she's just... Yeah, she's using a big pot. That's why. She's using a much bigger pot. Okay, Google. Set timer for 30 minutes.
Alright, 30 minutes. And that's starting now.
So I switched that to a little bit more of a medium temperature. It's slightly leaning more toward medium. It said low, but my low wasn't bubbling in any way, whereas hers was. So I think maybe because she was using a larger pan, and because she's using a much larger pan, there's a lot less kind of surface area. So whereas mine is like this deep in the pan, hers was like this. So I'm going to increase the temperature just a little bit. Continuously stir. I'm not going to keep you here for a half hour, but we will return and see what that looks like. So you can see I'm covered in a light coating of cornstarch and powdered sugar, but that's what I get for not owning any clothes other than the color black. I also currently look like I belong in Whoville, my weird head knob thingy. we're getting to the point where we need to add the rose syrup and the food coloring to the Turkish Delight mixture. And it says once it gets golden in color. And it tells you, you know, it gives you a rough amount of time. Every recipe you look at says you want to let it go for 60 minutes, some says 40 minutes, but it really depends on, you know, the mixture. It depends on the temperature in your kitchen. It depends on how hot your stove really does get. So really what you're looking for is when it gets golden in color. So I'm just going to kind of show you. What I would like to show you is that despite my little boo-boo with not adding the corn syrup to the mixture, it did actually work. It's really bright, so we did sort of create some squishy, pillowy marshmallows. And I tried them. You can taste the lavender. They taste really good. And it does have a marshmallow consistency, but I think that it would be a lot fluffier if I did add the cornstarch, but it did dramatically reduce the setting time. So whereas it would have taken maybe 4 hours to set, this set in probably a good hour. So I know that reduces the setting time, but you're going to end up with a much better marshmallow if you remember to add the corn syrup. So slowly but surely, I've been cleaning up my kitchen as I go, and sugar syrup is to get out of things. And it's been all over my stove. I've been trying to scrub, but it's an induction top, so you can't scrub too hard because if you do, you're gonna scratch it. If you scratch it, you're screwed. And yeah, I have some things in the sink that are soaking right now, and I think what's proven the hardest to get out is actually the cornstarch mixture. So it's a mixture of the cornstarch with the cream of tartar and the water. When that comes together, you make a glue. It is getting golden in color, but it's not as gold as it should be. And I keep getting excited every time I look at it and say, oh God, it's golden enough. And then I look at the video and it's like super golden. So I have to wait a little bit longer, and I'm just gonna go and clean up a bit more and kind of kill some time while this is going and come up with a battle plan of something to make for dinner that's not going to be too crazy. Ooh, I know what I'm going to make. This is why I love Trader Joe's. Ready? Mandarin chicken, edamame, and then of course we have the rice cooker, and we're going to make some rice to go with that. So this is super fast to make, so if you're ever in a pinch, I highly recommend Trader Joe's. They are going to $2.99 your ass to death. Chocolate covered blueberries. I haven't actually tried these yet, but I didn't eat yet today, even though it's 6:30. I haven't eaten yet today. I've devoted all my time to this Valentine's Day gift because I thought it was really sweet that Stuart brought me home roses yesterday. He didn't have to, because we don't usually, like I said, we don't do Valentine's Day because we focus on our anniversary, because that's like the main event. That's really like, that's the day that's intrinsic to us, because that's the day that we came together. So obviously that's like, you know, that's our day. Valentine's Day, not so much, but we still make it a point to just acknowledge each other at the very least, you know? We have Brooklyn Bangers. These are really good. They have cheese inside. But I highly recommend double timing it at the gym after these. Just saying. Okay, what else did I get at Trader Joe's? I did not spend $55 at Trader Joe's and only get those 3 things. What else did I get? Oh, I got mushrooms. I go through this like crazy. It's coconut cooking spray. I really love this stuff, and even when I had my really cheap frying pan, because it was like super cheap, I was on a massive budget. You know, this is when we were both working kind of retail and in school at the same time, so we had really cheap appliances, cookware and stuff. This even made on the cheap frying pan, like the omelet would slide right out, so this is really good stuff. Not from Trader Joe's, but a store called H Mart that I really love that we go to. There is just something about ramen. I absolutely go crazy, nuts for ramen, and I really like spicy ramen. So sometimes even if I don't have a spicy ramen, I will add hot sauce to it. I love it. I remember. I also got the green pesto, and then we have the whole wheat fusilli. I'm the only one in this house that eats pasta. My husband just doesn't like it. Can't go wrong with seaweed snacks. Has iodine in it. Iodine's good for your thyroid. My thyroid currently hates me. I need to look at the picture again to see if it's golden enough, because I'm getting excited again. Can you see how golden that is? Actually, I think we're ready. We're ready. Okay. In 2 tablespoons of rose water. If you smelled this, it smells really strong. So I don't know if 2 tablespoons is too much, but it says. You know what, let me check the original recipe that I was looking at, because I'm on a different recipe and I forgot. So rose water smells really strong. And it says 2 tablespoons. And I'm wondering if that might be a little bit too much. Well, I'm gonna start with 2. Not overkill. Okay, I touched it. That's weird. Do I taste the rose though? More rose. So we have lots of rose in here. Let's give it a quick. I taste the rose. It's supposed to be pink, and I think I just made it red. Fingers crossed. I don't want to jinx it, but fingers crossed. This looks promising. I don't know if I can refrigerate this. I'm going to have a look and see. The refrigerator always comes with an interesting sort of assortment of smells. No matter how clean you keep it, no matter how much you wipe it down in there's always different food smells inside, and especially when I have something that's warm, that is kind of porous at the moment, and it's in its sort of developing stages. I don't want it taking on the smell and the sort of flavor of pastrami. So we're not going for pastrami flavored Turkish delight. Not the deal. We are nice and even, because I woke up to these. We don't normally do Valentine's Day for each other, so we like I said, we always try to do little things, but this is, I think, the first time he brought me all these flowers, which is like really sweet of him. And The best way I know how to show that I care is like feeding. I think that's the Italian in me too. The Italian in me says, wow, I really care about you and I want you to live. Here, eat all of this food. And that's literally how I treat people I care about. So imagine like the person that I'm married to. Yeah, he needs a gym membership because I'm constantly cooking and baking and doing all of this. The next video you see will probably be picking up from tomorrow after that has been set, because it's definitely not going to set by tonight. So what you see is going to be what has set by tomorrow, and I'll just show you what it looks like. I have high hopes, honestly. I went into this without much hope, and I had a little bit of hope, like a little bit, but I didn't expect everything to come together as well as it did. Like the marshmallows, they came together. Even though I completely forgot one key ingredient that you cannot leave out, it still worked. It still came out. And next time I do it, maybe we'll do different flavors next time. It will come out even better. And this I have even higher hopes for because it looks exactly like it did in all the videos I watched. I'm pretty confident that this is gonna set, but we'll see. You're gonna see tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Here they are, the Rose Turkish Delight, done and dusted, literally dusted in powdered sugar and cornstarch, which, by the way, is absolutely necessary because once you cut them, they're super sticky and you need to keep that surface area dry or else they're going to stick right together. And there's a lot missing because they were a hit, as were the marshmallows. Next time around, I'm not going to forget to put the corn syrup in, and I know that for a first attempt, this is, I would say, a success. I'm going to call this a win. And next attempt is going to be even better because now I know better. I know much better than before. You can find the recipes that I used in the description. I used a few for each, and I hope that you find this useful. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!